live feeds here. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't think it would take
Okay, I
that
see that.
long. Okay.
Is that what that is? That I got a window here. I guess that's a mag window, huh?
Yeah. So I had posted Walt the
I see
picture
that.
that we're
Okay,
gonna be
okay. Is
painting
that
from, and you can paint from this, or you can paint for something around your house or whatever it is
okay?
that you'd like to
Mhm.
work on today.
Mhm. I got about I got about 10 paintings done. Like that, and then I got a whole crap load of drawings I've been drawing all that year.
Great.
So
You've been
I
doing
got a
a lot
lot
of
of
good
stuff there.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever come out, it's good to see all that stuff out there. Plus the whatever I put online too.
Yeah. So we are live on Facebook and YouTube at the moment, as far as I know.
Mhm.
I'm checking now. No, we're not. Oh, I wanted to do that.
What's
I got
that?
a message that said you were, and I said, okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm not sure.
Hey Sherry, how do you pronounce your last name?
I'm sorry,
Pronounce your last name.
Liebschner.
Leachner. Okay, okay. I wasn't sure. Mine's Kernich.
Okay.
The A is silent in it.
So while we need to get started here, we have Susan,
Okay, go
Weaver,
ahead.
who is the director of the Museum of Ceramics, as a guest today.
Okay, good.
I'm going to go
Okay.
mute. I'm going to mute everybody else for the time being, so we can talk.
Okay.
I guess we're not. Okay. Susan, we've been able to do quite a bit this past year with art events at the museum. It's really been kind of an overwhelming response, I think.
Yeah, it's been a great year. We're so happy you came on board and brought art into our life. Color, that's a better way to say it, huh?
So we had planned on talking about the upcoming events here at the museum. What is on the schedule coming up that the public can show up for and participate in?
We have such a good year plan that it kind of scares me at times that there's so much on our calendar. But we'll reopen at the end of March, and so the reopening is going to be your student art show. So that's going to be really cool. As a matter of fact, why don't you tell people about that part?
Yeah, we have the student art show. It is coming up on March 31st. It is open to anyone who has taken one of our painting or drawing classes or workshops since we started the program back in October of 2019. I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm going to try to have music on board. We're going to have some refreshments, and I put out the application online where it's an open event. So there's no jurying or deciding what gets in or what doesn't. All our students will get in. There is a limit of 3 artworks per person. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the public will respond favorably and we won't have COVID problems going on at that point. So I think I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. So the reception for that art show is the March 31st at 6:00. And then I think it's going to be there for 2 weeks. Is that correct?
Yes, we were going to leave the works up for 2 weeks if people wanted to do that. So people can come in if they visit the museum later, if they can't come to the opening, and still see the artworks. I understand we also have a different display going on at that time, Susan?
Probably not then. It'll probably follow that. Yeah.
Okay.
But even though we're closed right now, we do have a couple events that continue to happen. One is trivia nights. Those are the second Tuesdays of every month. They're at 7:00. I think we have the best trivia night around. The way we work it is you pay $10 to play. There's teams of 1 to 4 players that compete, and the team that wins gets half the night's take. The team that comes in second gets free tickets for a future trivia night. But it's really become a lot of fun. If you're a trivia buff, gather some friends and come on down. We also have a reading club called Muse Group, and they continue to meet. They'll meet in February and it's the 3rd Tuesday of each month. In February, Colleen McCoy is discussion leader. In March, Pat Hill is. And then in April and May, I'll be the discussion leaders. But if anybody wants our brochure on that, you can send me an email and we'll mail you a brochure telling you what the choices are for the readings that night. And my email is sweaver, so it's sweaver@kent.edu. So if you want a brochure, just send me a message.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a program I think might be of interest to your artist, Sherry, and that is on April 7th. Fred Miller is going to do a photography class. It's called The Secrets of Photographing Pottery and Other Small Objects.
Ooh.
And I know as an artist, you have to get your good reference pictures to paint from. So it's a free workshop, 6 o'clock on April 7th with Fred Miller, who's an outstanding photographer and I think known by everybody in the area. So in May, we are hoping to release a children's book. It's called Clay, Homer and Shakespeare Build a Pottery. It was written by Kathy Keenan, and it uses the Roland Schweinsberg paintings as illustrations. So, and it's a repetitive poem. It tells how clay gets to being pottery. And I'm going to talk about that again in a second. So we're very excited about that. We got a grant, the museum's publishing it. We got a grant to publish it. And the plan is to give a free copy to every fourth grade class who books a museum tour. Every student in that class will get a free copy of the book. So we're really excited about that happening. Our clay classes should start up in May. We should be ready with a new kiln and new teachers and ready to start adult and teenage classes. We also will probably sell studio time for people who don't have their own wheels and kilns. They can come in and work for a very, very inexpensive amount or cheap amount. They can have studio time. We plan on participating in First Fridays as we did last year. And on May 6th, we're going to have a book sale. So it's going to be a giant book sale. If you want to get rid of some of your great fiction or nonfiction books, bring them down for us or come shop. Because we're going to have a great collection of books, very inexpensive for that night. May 19th, we're having our ceramic mosaic class. Judy Fannin and Cindy Hoffacher will be teaching that. And they'll probably be doing it with the birdhouses again, but you'll learn all the basics of, using the nippers and cutting the ceramics and the adhesives and everything about it. And it's pretty much a make and take it night. I think it should be complete in that night. So towards the end of May, right now I have it tentatively scheduled for May 26th. We're going to have an adult program for the kickoff of the book I just talked about. And we're calling that Clay Day. But it's really going to be kind of fun because, one of our thinkings this year is rather than doing lectures like the mock talks, let's do more of events. And Sherry, this is a little bit patterned after our inspiration series. Let's make it a bigger event than just a talk about one topic. So that day will be, it'll be a daytime, early in the daytime, probably about 11 o'clock. There'll be a walking tour of the Roland Schweinsberg paintings. We are making a catalog of his paintings. So people who participate will get a free catalog. There'll be lunch, hopefully at Renovadio's. They haven't gotten back to me about that. So we'll take a break, go to lunch at Renovadio's, and then in the afternoon, go down and have a tour of Homer Laughlin, or actually the Fiesta Tableware Company. And the tour will be a little bit more in-depth than the usual tour that people from the outlets get. So I think this is a great event too for out-of-towners. They get a tour of the pottery, they get to see our museum, they get to see our finest restaurant. So if you have people you want to invite to come in for that, and there'll be a small fee for that because the lunch and everything will be included in that price. So hopefully in June, and I'm having a little trouble coordinating with the producer on this, so this might be delayed, but I hope not. Hopefully in June, the bottle kilns are coming to town. We have plans to make fiberglass bottle kilns that stand about 4 feet tall. This project is sponsored by the Homer Laughlin China Collectors Association. So those bottle kills will be in the original Fiesta Ware colors, and they'll be sprinkled throughout town, and each kill will represent a pottery. It'll have the pottery's name on it and a QR code. When you snap the QR code, you'll get a little history of that pottery. So you've probably seen towns do this with mascots and stuff. For us, it's going to be bottle kills. So we're hoping that's going to happen. We really like to see it before the all class reunion. So we'll see if that gets done by then. We're hoping so. So I've been trying to pin down when Pottery Festival is in town, and I haven't been able to do that. It's either going to be the week of June 6th or the week of June 13th. That's important for us because we're going to collaborate with Pottery Festival in two ways. We are going to do a ceramic art exhibition. Sherry, I haven't had time to tell you about this. I'm excited about it. Over in Adventure Gallery, we're going to do clay art. So if you know any clay artists, I don't have any details. This just came up and we haven't thought about the prospectus yet or what kind of show or if it's judged, but we want it to be, everybody's trying to make the Pottery Festival more about pottery. So we're going to have a pottery show. We're also going to do Clay Academy that week. Yeah, call us crazy with everything else going on. We're going to bring the kids in town. But we thought it'd be kind of fun that they'd be visible during Pottery Festival. And, and I think they'll enjoy the excitement of the Pottery Festival. Plus, the hot dog shop always provides our food. And by Thursday, we're sick of hot dog shop food. So we figured they could eat festival food 2 of those days for their lunch.
Yeah.
Clay Academy is an awesome program for kids 10 to 14 years old. It's a day camp, 9 to 3 every day for a week. And they do the coolest thing. So if you have kids in this age, you'll want to sign them up. They do hand building and throwing on the potter's wheel. They learn doorknob toss. They do ceramic mosaics. They get to tour 2 major potteries, Homer Laughlin China. I got to get in the habit of calling it Fiesta Tableware Company and American Mug and Stein. They create a trademark. It's a great time. They do a ghost walk up in the cemetery looking for potters that were buried there. So we're excited about that. We haven't been able to have it for 2 years because of COVID. We've got it on the schedule, so we're hoping it'll happen this year. Okay, that brings us up to July and the all-class reunion. For the all-class reunion, we've rented out our patio for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. So we'll have classes meeting behind the museum. And that's the exhibit, Sherry, you were probably talking about. I don't think it'll get up as early as March. Well, I know it won't because it just won't be ready. But we will have an exhibit then. It's going to be called The Way We Were. And it's going to be photographs around town of old photographs of something that was there. For example, where City Hall sits now, sat the home of Colonel John Taylor of Knowles, Taylor and Knowles. So it'd be a picture of his home, a picture of City Hall. So I think that'd be fun for all the people coming in for the class reunion to see some old pictures of town. And of course, we have the plein air artists in here on the 2nd. So that's gonna be, and like I said, that's also First Friday, but I don't know what'll happen with that. We'll have to see what the town wants to do on that one. So in August, we have another one of those events, and it's going to be, I'm calling it a Ware Fair, where spelled W-A-R-E and fair spelled F-A-I-R. It's Ware Fair Lotus Ware. We did an online exhibit of teapots, which I hope you've all seen. It's called Crockery City Teapots, and it's a totally online exhibit. In other words, it doesn't have a counterpart in a museum. A lot of online exhibits are filmed galleries from a museum. We did ours as just an online exhibit. We're doing the same thing with Lotus Ware. Hopefully it'll be debuting about that time. So the Ware Fair is also going to be kind of cool. We're going to do a talk about Lotus Ware, of course, but most people know a lot about Lotus Ware, especially the people that collect it. It was made in the 1890s. It's a bone china, only made for about 4 years. So interspersed with the talk, we're going to talk about what's happening in the nation and the town at the same time, probably in the form of a news broadcast. We're going to tell you about major events in the country, things that are in our local paper, and put that all in context of the Lotus Ware being created when the culture was this. So that'd be the first half. Then after that, in the museum, we're going to invite people who collect Lotus Ware to set up tables with their Lotus Ware. So people can go around like a fair and see the different collectors' items. Some of them have things that I've never seen before. They have things that are not in the museum. So that, and there'll be refreshments for that one too. So we're excited about that one too. That's the main things on our schedule. And what we hope to have in addition to all that is we want to return music at the museum back. Sherry and I need to talk about another inspiration series. We haven't done that for a while. And of course, we'll have our art classes, the regular ones, and maybe some other special ones like we like to do too. So yeah, we're really busy, and I'm working on some grants. Oh yeah, so I'm working on a grant, has to be in a couple of days here. We're hoping also to interview potters. You know, the museum has a lot of information about people who owned potteries. What we don't have is a lot of, you know, the cultural history of the people who worked in the potteries, what their life was like every day, you know, how, and I've talked to a few of them, and when I talk to them, they're fascinating. And a lot of these people, you know, are up there in years. So we got to get this documented. So I think Ohio Humanities Council is going to give us a planning grant to buy some recording equipment and get some of these interviews down. And then decide what product that is. We're not sure what that'll be in the end. Maybe it'll be a podcast, maybe it'll be an audio exhibit in the museum. But I think it's crucial to start recording people now and then worry about what we do with it later, as long as we get the information. And then we're working on a second Ohio Humanities grant. I actually have a meeting Friday to see if we're eligible for this, but it's for summer education programs for kids. So we're hoping that that would give us some money for our Clay Academy and maybe other programs we might do for children in the summer. So we have a full plate. That's about it.
Wow, Susan. I didn't even know about a lot of the events you had planned. So this is an update for me too.
Yeah.
With the holidays and everything, we haven't gotten to spend a lot of time together. Plus everything that's going on in town. So. And
it's just happening so fast. I mean, yesterday the book sale came about. 2 days ago, the clay gallery or the exhibition idea came about. So things are just happening. I'm adding to this list every day. And that's what I say every day. I write another thing on it. And I think, oh my gosh, I need a staff of about 20 employees right now. So,
yes, you do.
But we've got good staff and we've got good volunteers. So we'll make it happen.
You read my mind about the inspiration series, because I'm thinking as you're talking there, that we need to do more of the inspiration series and get those scheduled on the calendar. So we'll do that sometime after today.
Let's do that. I love that. That's actually one of my favorite programs that we do. And Jeannie, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but what they are is we pick a ceramic artist or even a local artist. And the first half of the program is a talk about that artist, especially showing some of their designs and their style of work. And then Sherry follows that up with an art project that uses the designs of that artist. And we just have a lot of fun doing that one. It's really a cool program.
Yes,
So.
it is. So we will.
Sounds like it would be.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really, it gets me outside of my comfort zone too, gets me to look at something different or paint something different that I might not otherwise do. And also to do research on the people who created the pottery or their lives, whatever it is that we're doing. So those have been really exciting programs, I think.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting, since Sherry came into our lives, I've always been an art buff and I've always been interested in doing art, and I've always been very appreciative of art. But I think we've seen the museum kind of take a little turn. I mean, the museum was always about the history of the potteries, as it should be. But now it also is the art of the pottery. So we see that is another whole aspect that, you know, it's always been there, but we've never really emphasized it like we have over the past year or so. And I often say, I think the ceramic designers, they're responsible for so much and they just don't get the credit they deserve, especially locally within the, collectors outside of here know of Eva Zeisel and Frederick Reed, but locals don't always, they just know that these dishes came from Hall China. So I think we've added some prominence to those artists too.
Well, it's made me look when I visited other museums to see our things in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, in different museums around. We're all over the place and our designers are all over the place. And yet growing up here, yeah, of the pottery, of a Hall China, of a Homer Laughlin, of Knowles Taylor, those kind of things. And yet the outside world is valuing our pottery and the designers from here.
Yeah, that has happened to me recently in this clay class. It's two separate classes. And in both classes, suddenly they're talking about the wonder of Mason dyes, Mason colors. And I'm like, Mason is, a football field away from the museum. And they're like, you're so lucky to have them in town. And they, Mason becomes for them, it's a word like Kleenex. It's a brand name, but they use it for the product. Oh, my Mason red is missing. And it was just so, there's some saying about that, and you're not a hero in your own town, right? So
true. Do you think
does anybody have any questions for me about any of these events, or even suggestions for events? Sherry and I usually don't have any lack of ideas, but sometimes someone says the simplest thing. Well, actually it was a patron who emailed me and said, wouldn't it be nice if you did a photography class on how to photograph pottery? And I thought, I never thought of that. So sometimes outsiders have great ideas. So
that's great. Very excited about all the things coming up. It just seems like the museum has just blossomed in the past couple of years that I've been involved with it, or maybe it's just that I'm noticing now all the things that are going on, but it does seem like there's more, and the public is aware of more going on, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, another thing that I have going on that I am super excited about is I'm doing a TED Talk at a high school here in Florida, Palm Harbor High School, which has 5,000 students, asked me to do a TED Talk. Now, my granddaughter, who's a senior there, had a whole lot to do with that. But they only invited 6 to 8 people, and their official TED Talks say the way they've got the license to do them. And the talk is to be about how our museum has worked with our town to lift both up, and how and the theme of their whole TED Talk series for this one is unity, and about how working together is the only way you get there. So it was really fun to write this and put it together and try to do it in 10 minutes, or so. But I had to have my draft in yesterday. They had my resume about a month ago. There was a dress rehearsal. The actual TED Talk, I think, is on March 4th. So it's exciting. I still don't have any idea what to expect. I don't know where it's held, how many people will show up or whatever, but I'm sure there'll be a YouTube video of it. So.
Well, that's great. Anything else you'd like to add before we get started painting?
I know, I'll let you guys get to your stuff. But yeah, and if anybody has any questions for me, you can always, I have 2 emails I use, museumofceramics@gmail.com, if that's easier for you to remember, or the one I use most, which is Sweaver, sweaver@kent.edu. If you have a question, comment, you want our newsletter, you want our a brochure, just send me an email and we'll make that happen. So happy painting.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. And anybody's welcome to message me or send me an email. If they need that information too, I can always forward it on. Well, thank you so much, Susan, for being a guest today. We're going to get started painting our project, and I probably won't see you until March, probably, right?
Right. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm going to miss your opening, but I will be there probably a week or so afterwards. I'll be there while the show is still up.
Okay.
So, okay. See you.
All right, Susan. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.